Hello. In this demo, we'll look at using the IBM DataWorks utilities in IBM Bluemix to move and filter data from one data service to another. In this case, we'll move data from DB, the data warehousing service, to SQL database, which is the DB2 based database as a service in Bluemix. So let's get started by logging into Bluemix. Next, we'll need an app. Let's just pick a simple Node.js app. Next, we'll need to add the services. So for this demo, we'll need three services. We'll need IBM DataWorks. We'll need the source of the data, which is -db, and we'll need the target database, which again is SQL database. So let's go ahead and create these three services now and bind it to our app. So let's start with -db. We'll skip restaging for now, as we'll restage when all three services have been added. Now let's add SQL database. Again, we'll skip restaging until we get to the last service. Now let's add DataWorks. And now we'll restage the app, as this is the last service that we've added to this app. So here we have our app with all three services successfully running. So now we should take a look at the credentials for -db and for SQL database. We will copy these off somewhere so that we can recall them when we need to actually connect to each one of these databases as we use the DataWorks service. So if we expand the details of our application, we can see that the credentials for -db and for SQL database are available to us. There's -db and there's SQL database. So we'll go ahead and copy those off to a text file so that we can recall this information as we go through the process of moving data from -db to SQL database using the DataWorks service. With our credentials saved, we can now launch the IBM DataWorks service. So the first thing we need to do is create a connection to -db, the source of our data transfer. Now we need to add our credentials. So we paste in the values that we saved off earlier, and now we can go ahead and connect. So let's repeat the process for SQL database. Once we see our credentials, we can click on Create Connection. Okay, so now we can start copying the data over. So we'll select the Refine and Copy task. And again, as we said, our source is -db. And -db does come with some samples. So we're going to select one of the sample tables here called product. And we don't want to simply copy the entire table. We just want a subset. So let's go ahead and click on Refine. And here is all the columns of our tables and a sampling of some of the values. We will filter on product type code. So we'll click here and select filter. And we're going to focus on one particular product type code, 961. So we'll select that as our filter. And now you can see our number of rows has decreased, and we only have those records with the product type code set to 961. So now we need to select a target SQL database. We'll use existing schema, and we can say replace or append. If it's the first time, it's okay to say append. But if you repeat that again, then you may end up with duplicate data. So before we run it, let's give the activity a name so we can save it and reuse it in the future. And it lets us know that the activity is running. We can look at the status here. And eventually it'll come back and let us know the outcome of the run. So now we see that it completed successfully. So what we want to do now is we want to go back and go into SQL database to make sure that the data did actually arrive. So let's go back to our dashboard and select our instance of SQL database, click on its tile to bring up the console. And once we have the console, we select the option Work with Tables. And as you can see, we do have our product table that was created, and just gives us the definition of the table, and it would be the same definition of the table in -db. But let's go ahead and browse the data just to make sure. And the important thing here is that we see that all our product type codes are set to 961 per the setting of our filter. So it looks like our transfer was successful and we can declare victory. Thank you for watching this demo.